a minimum of 1:5 need to reward. So once I get a 1:5 need to reward, then I will consider that this morning London session live trading is fulfilled. So without that, I get to together with me, then I continue. So let's just look into this first, then monitor the price action that moves and whether we use the opportunity or we should stay for the price opportunity or I just what's happening here. So this is my one this is your there's definitely a bit of anything else. So that is great. So we confirmed the market structure. After the market structure and coupled with the old Wyckoff thing that play out here. So that is confirmed. Then I'll go to the 15 minutes now to see what's happening on 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is also bearish. This is a pullback, a rise, then a break of structure. Then we should have this like that coming down. So what definitely if you are going to be expecting a Wyckoff, you're not be seeing a Wyckoff on the 15-minute chart. So we either will go to the 5 minutes or we'll go to the 1 minute, depending on what also happens on the 1 minute. So on the 5 minutes also, alright, so on the 5 minutes is then a break of structure, so there's no point on also on 5 minutes. So definitely this explain that is a bearish so where definitely I will be expecting on this other block I did never mention where I picked this other block from. So this other block is cutting from the 1 hour. This is 1 hour, 15 minutes, let me say 15 minutes. Okay. I think I got it from the 1 hour. Let me just then this old black box within is cutting. I think it's a refined other block from the 3 minutes because I like using 3 minutes. Okay, so we have an effect. Alright. Okay. Yep. So we have this buy candle over here before the sale. Then we have another buy. Definitely I should have picked. I really don't know why I picked this as the whole thing. It should be coming from here. Then in 15 minutes, I'll definitely be having the number one other block that you notice over here is this one. This old from the week to the very candle that was engulfed. So that will be my first other block, regardless of whether uh in there's liquidity above or below. Then this is my second order block. Since this doesn't engulf the buy candle before the sell, then the candles before it is the black candle is engulfed is my other block. So this is my first that would be my first PO1 on the 15 million. This will be the second. Now the reason why I'm not choosing this is because there is a liquidity just above. So this is my liquidity just above. And on the 3 minutes, not 5 minutes. Okay, I think that PO was also on 5 minutes. Alright, so from the 5 minutes, there is this smaller block sitting right there. Then within the 5 minutes, I could pick this as the other block. Alright, so then definitely I'm looking at two places now. 1, 2 for the price we react to. And we are seeing London session. London session just opened on this side of the world, because London session opens 8 a.m. GMT close one. So what I'm expecting within 8 to 10, we should have a reaction. We should have the price playing into this place then, dropping to continue its bearish run. Anything outside 8 to 10, I would probably be asleep or doing some other things. Then, if it doesn't play out 8 to 10 within this point, then we'll be looking at the Asia and the New York session that starts by 1 p.m. So definitely, if I just want to place this trade, without you guys being online with me, I'll have placed an order here, then I'll be placing another order. Definitely, probably at this point, not this point, because I don't like going to the extremes when it's almost forming an equal high. So I'll definitely be placing it at this point, because I think the stop loss, when I'm checked out the stop loss, it okay, this is just about 6, which is quite okay for me. Then this one is about 1.8 stop loss. So that would be what I'll be looking at for USDT. So I could just place my alert at that point. Uh, so let me wait for the alert to okay, the alert has been done. Then for GBP USD, though I have some other pairs, so I really don't want to focus too much on. I don't diverse my focus as well. Definitely, if you are trading more than 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then it will be trouble for you to monitor everything. So this morning, I'll just focus on 2 pairs. USD is one of them, and USD. Right, this network is kind of slow this morning. So GBP will also be one of them. Alright, so for GBP now, for GBP I'll be having, okay, the general outlook, at this point now is that our weekly is bearish because I was telling you guys how I was expecting it to break the weekly structure because of the liquidity that occurred at that point. So definitely our weekly is bearish now. So if I'm going to be taking a trade based on what this is, I'll be taking a very long term trade on GBP USD with start with so it starts into all this liquidity lower high. From the lower high then it continues to the downside. But I will not take that if I don't see anything convincing on the daily. Probably a daily break of structure, a 4 hour accumulation happen. So we have this as our break of structure, then we have this week, this SND week here. This whole thing is an SND week that I'm waiting for the price to react on. Once I see a good price rejection, so probably on the 1 hour, I might be able to hold it. So the first take profit will be from this point, from where this other block appears. So I'm be expecting I break it. If it does, then I'll be expecting that Thursday, Friday should be able to take continue the whole bearish run. But if Thursday, Friday decides to, if price decides to delay and wait to Thursday, Friday, then I'll be happy to take that based on what I see the price action. But definitely this morning we have to take a trade based on what we are seeing. So on the daily also, the daily is bearish obviously. Then on the 4 hour, the 4 hour just created something, the momentum is already reducing. Now the 4 hours created this low over here, this lower high over here. So definitely we have our 4 hour structure point to be closer to. So if you want to break it, it doesn't have to take so much speed to break it, rather than having to come all the way to this place to break our 4 hour structure. So that's what I want to say, and that's what I want to say. Our structure points getting the momentum getting reducing in that sense now. And the 1 hour structure point is also the same as the 4 hour. So definitely if there's a 1 hour break of structure, then I'll be taking a trade based on that. So this whole POI was marked out from the recently, which is just to find. Okay, so the first one is a breaker block which it has violated now. Then the second one here is our order block. So these two sales before the buy candle is the other block. Because the two candles are involved. So let me just delete this. Now one thing to know is that it doesn't have to come all the way to this other block to before it buys. So whatever, if I see a break of structure, then I should be able to take the buy also. But because within this imbalance here, we could have mini other blocks of say on the 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But I can't go to 3 minutes, 5 minutes because this is a very long time, and the broker feed doesn't allow that long.
So what I'll be expecting is this break of structure. Then okay, I think I've set this alert since yesterday. And one thing I'm also looking at on the 15 minutes. Alright, so on the 15 minutes, there's definitely our manipulation going on at this point. So I really want to reckon this whole thing as an accumulation, though I've not confirmed with the volume. I'm not confirmed with the volume. So whatever whatever is in play here would let me know whatever the volume says will let me know the whole story. Okay, so definitely this is the from starting from the point where we had our buying climax to I'm selling climax to your AR, then your ST. This is okay. Without considering this volume, because this volume was definitely a shan session. So it's more of an increase to the upside than instead of a decrease. Starting from our selling climax, we should have an increase. So definitely our volume is not supporting the fact that this is an accumulation. So I'll just put that aside, but still following what the market structure will say here, we would probably have our answer to that. Let me just look into the 5 minutes. All right. So the 5 minutes is saying what the 15 minutes is. What the 15 minutes is giving us. Let's go back to USD Nothing is happening in the market right now. Everything is still within what we're expecting. So that's let me just mark it out how I would normally. So that's my alright. So and this has been taken. Definitely we have all these. We have all these to take. We have all these to take. And if I could draw a matching trend line. Alright. So it's definitely all just liquidity everywhere. So you don't need to do that. Not to mess up the whole chart. So that's liquidity everywhere. Anybody put on the session would definitely this are Asian lows. So this definitely is my Asian low. An Asian low that formed liquidity. So you definitely expect that your London session comes to take this. But before that, we want to get in from the point where the London session will take it. So this is Asian low. So that will be Asian low. And our job now is to wait on the price action that the market gives. So okay, I said I was going to check the 1 minute. I don't think I checked the 1 minute. Okay. So let's just follow what the structure that is going on the 1 minute. So this is an accumulation which a very short accumulation on the 1 minute. So this is your selling climax, 2 years selling buying selling climax ARST then spring and a normal then we should have the break of structure. So we have this as a bullish, then there's also a break of structure here and market comes down, a break of structure, then we have this break over there. So let me just start my counting from here. then it breaks the structure and it breaks it to the upside. So definitely at this point here, if I get to 3 minutes, I should be able to see I should see what I'm alright. So the market breaks this structure here, then it breaks it to the upside and it breaks it to the downside. So definitely we have something going on in here. So possibly that should guide us to as to when this whole up movement would stop and continue to the downside. So in this case now, I would start labeling it as my PS. That would be my PS now. Uh, this should be my buying climax. Yeah, AR, then my ST. Now this could either be my selling climax or sign of weakness. So where's the volume now? Okay, so definitely what I definitely like what I'm seeing over here. So we have our volume reducing. We had volume. So this should be ignored actually. We had volume reducing because the reason why I said it should be ignored is because it's Asian session. Asian session normally comes with a low volume, just like I mentioned in time and price. So this is New York, so this is London, and it's still lower than the the prices that are coming from the buying climax and PS. So that confirms our distribution, and this is my sign of weakness. Now my sign of weakness, this should be my UT, and my UTAD should be forming around that point. Now the reason why I'm picking my UTAD around that point, I'm not picking this as my UTAD, is because of the supply zone I'm trying to mark out over here. Now one thing that one another scenario that could happen is this could be my UT, and we could have multiple STs, multiple secondary tests at that point. Whatever just takes away the liquidity. Okay, this since this one is taking away the liquidity right from where you have your UT for your secondary test is your UT. So if this is my UT, then my UTAR should be forming around this point. Now the whole reason for this distribution is just for you to know the extent to which this upward move or this induction will go. Now in this case now, it should logically it will not make sense if the market form goes impulsively to the upside and before rejecting. So definitely that upward move seems far-fetched. It seems as though that is another that would be another schematic forming, or definitely another major play move, because you have your ET over here, then at most with the price uh with the consecutive price increase, there's really no much difference in this structure point. So I definitely don't want my UTAD to be going as this. Okay, for this second POY, I will not be expecting my UTAD to be over here. Though that would have been the most probable situation because of the liquidity that is also tapped over there. With liquidity comes so much fast movement. But if with this distribution that is going on here and the whole liquidity that it has to tap also at that point, then I'll be expecting that my market forms just about this point, just about that point. And for the first take profit will be here. Then second take profit will be on the other block I was expecting. Alright, so that would be my first take profit. Now the whole reason why, if this goes below or breaks structure, then I'll not be expecting. If it takes the Asian low before going to the UTAD, then I'll just be picking another block within this point. But if it doesn't, then we still wait for the market to come to this place. Now, for the purpose of this trading, I activated paper trading on TradingView, while I'll be also placing my order beneath, because I don't think you guys will be able to see my MetaTrader desktop terminal as per the recording software I'm using. So definitely for an aggressive trader, I'll be placing this first. So that should be about 1.7. Then my stop loss would be 2 pip stop loss. So just waiting on what price would give, would then from there I could take my play. So definitely if we are breaking this, I'll be taking a my POI from within this point here. So I could also set our alert at that point. So let me just stop the record at this point, then we could. Alright, Nomi, can you hear me? Nomi, are you with me? Alright. Yeah. No, yeah, Newman, can you hear me now? So, possibly that session, New York will be getting on GBP USD. So for gold, let's just take a look at gold together. So I have my first order at this point, order for the day at this point in time. My take profit to definitely be above this place here. So if I'm going to be taking anything out of this particular trade after a one ratio five, I will be taking it at this point. So that will be the partial. And for okay, let's just say it plays out. Then the next order will be at this particular point. Here. Definitely for my live trading, I would okay. The first one I had a stop loss here, but if I'm putting it at this point, if I'm going to this point, then my stop loss for this one will be below here with a very minimal risk. Then at this point, I'll be risking. This might be about okay, I could just according to the stop loss size would determine what risk I'm using. So from that point to this point is about let me see, that's about 12 pips if I'm not wrong. Or 0.1. That's 115. I can use 115 pips surplus. But whatever the case might be, if it comes down to this point, then I'll probably be putting my stop loss below here. Then for the other one, for the final order block, I'll be using this. But the gold really goes down to test after going up again. I mean, it really goes down to test. You find it just comes up from wherever the nearest demand zone it is, and even at this point here, even from the 15-minute order block, it has started reacting. I started reacting in the 15 minutes order block, and let me see if we could spot a break, then we could take it based on that. So this is so definitely that's where your break of structure would occur on the 3 minutes. So in this case now, our 15 minutes is bullish, 1 hour is bullish. Is this your 15 minutes? Your 15 minutes structure is just like this. So your 15 minutes is bullish until you break this low here. Then our 5 minutes. Then what will not be reacting off now would be the 5 minute chart. So our 5 minutes has this, then a break of structure. So we want to see a change in structure on the 5 minutes. So definitely if it reacts this off this point and I'm missing this, then I'll be waiting for a pullback then to take this trade to the upside. But if that doesn't happen because gold could just go straight, depending on what the momentum gives us, because we see definitely it's reacting off our 5 minutes order block right there. So whatever the case might be, if it's going to be breaking the structure in the 3 minutes, we would take our trade afterwards. Else we would just play what the price gives us. So this would be my USDCHF, which I don't think is going to come down anymore. It's going to go up anymore. So I would have loved to see it take this Asian eye. This is my Asian eye here. But I'd love to see it take this Asian eye, then take the Asian low. But whatever the case might be, we'll probably be having a New York reversal if the London session says it wants to do otherwise.
Alright, so let's just have a quick look at this in itself. Oh wow, this is a very beautiful trade. This is a very beautiful trade on Euro USD. This is an accumulation over here. Your PS buying climax, AR, ST, STB spring. Okay, we could still, we could still get on this. And one thing you should know is Euro USD and USD CHF are more than opposite. So whatever happens on USD CHF, the opposite will happen on Euro USD. So since we have our accumulation at that point, we definitely would not be coming up for USD CHF. So in the case of Euro USD now, in case of Euro USD, where did it bounce from? Okay, so it took off from not even 15 minutes now. It took off from this 1 hour order block. So definitely if I defined it, it might not even come down to where we wanted it to go. So let's just mark out this point. That's a beautiful trade right there. So in case you're wondering the accumulation, and let me just quickly show you guys. So we have this. So definitely that manipulation over there, break of high, break of low is the accumulation. And it we have our spring, then a break of structure, a break of structure, a break of structure, and if the momentum permits that it comes down, takes out all this liquidity, then we're able to go down to pick orders from here. So let me just quickly use the session. So definitely it took out our Asian low. So this was your Asian low over there, and definitely we are going to be taking out this Asian high. One thing I just would want the price to do is have a return to this other block. I think this is a 15-minute order block. Come back to from 15 minutes, then it continues to the upside. Alright, so that's what I'll be expecting on. Yeah, I can hear you. Man, what do you say? Time range, as in this automatically just gives the indicator here. Just what do you? I don't get what you mean by that question. Okay, no, you just have to. Okay, no, it depends on the time zone you are on now. The time zone you're on, Nigeria time zone, because of the daylight saving we're having now, your Asian session ends by 7:59, and your London takes over by 8 o'clock. So that's from 11, I think, yeah, from 11 o'clock your Asian session starts till 10 till 8, sorry, till 7:59. Then from 8 o'clock AM now your London session starts. So this blue session, this blue box here is your range of Asia. Then from this green, from 8 AM now, from the green here is when your London starts. Yeah. So this has taken out our Asian low. definitely with this week. So this whole accumulation that happened there is very legit. And so with this break of structure, we would be expecting. Personally, I'll be expecting that the market, comes down into this point, into that 15-minute order block. But if it doesn't, there's no doubt, there's no crime in marking out this point as an area of the action. Let me just go to the 1 minute to see the liquidity we're having. Definitely, there's even with this whole, there's a liquidity sitting at that point. So definitely that point is just a zone I'll be looking at, not necessarily placing a limit order from. So this is also a good point of interest. Let me just do this. So that's a good point of interest for the market to come into. So finding this 15 minutes, I'll be having that as POI1 within the 15 minutes, and this as POI2 down to the bottom. This can go away. This was your Asian low that formed liquidity, and London took it, drove it to the upside. Just so unfortunate that we couldn't see it beforehand. But this happened exactly 8:41, and by 8:41 I think we are still looking at USDCHF. So this is uh so this also a trade idea we could look at. And I think on alright, so that should do it. That should do it. Looking at gold. Okay, we still have it coming down, and USDCHF hasn't broken. If it doesn't take this action, I am still not satisfied. So if it takes it, peradventure it takes it without taking this action, then that would be a very good trade for us to follow. But in the case it doesn't, it's just forming consecutive lower lows on the 15 minutes. Since the 15-minute broke structure over here has been forming highs and lows. So definitely I think there's a manipulation. This okay. We have this whole, there's this manipulation around here. Probably the distribution, which I know where to look at. So this should be taken out. Then we'll probably be having a return. Now the reason why I'm not really looking into this point is because there are possibilities that if I probably enter at some point here, the market will be coming back to that entry point. So instead of me just letting the market come back to my entry point, I could just wait on the market to come back and take the order based on that. So that would be for USDCHF, and we have about 23 minutes till we have the session closed. So probably by New York session, we'll be having the result of what happened on during the London, because I doubt you guys will be able to stay all through with me the whole time period. So, but regardless, this is your consecutive highs and lows, or lower highs and lower lows that is forming on 3 minutes. And on Euro USD, its counterpart. Okay, Euro USD is already increasing. So it takes out this low here, then let me just, if I'm comfortable with this stop loss, I'll be taking my first order at that point, and I'll be willing to take a loss of 2.4. then the second orders can come in, then the total trade here is 4.4. So I'm putting the first order here, put the second order, then the total stop loss will be below that low. But looking at this first, I'll be putting this here. I think stop loss is about 24. Uh, okay, I think that was I did a market buy. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Uh, let me edit this. Uh, so definitely, even though it goes into profit, that was never the plan. So that would be a profit of mistake. But regardless, let's just look into this first. So for an aggressive trader, this is what I'll be doing. Definitely, this is what I'll be doing on my MT4, which I might be getting into very soon. And okay, so setting my limit should be 4 pips stop loss. Then we have another part. Though um just so you guys know that you are supposed to split your this should be 50 just to split your risk. But yes, this is because it's paper trading doesn't mean you have to be. I made a mistake again. Right. So your stop loss goes just below that point. And alright, so just to wait for the market to come into the different zones and execute the orders. So for gold, gold is still at that point. For your USDCHF, you still have it coming down. So probably if this alert triggers, I'll be able to monitor it more closely. Then I think we're looking at GBP/USD. For now, GBP/USD is on its way to the upside. So nothing, no, no, no confirmation of a trade on GBP/USD, but definitely on EUR/USD, we definitely have something to look at here. So these are the things we are looking at. This a buy essentially with this accumulation that happened. Now this whole accumulation, I'm not just taking this trade because of this accumulation. The 1 hour now in this case is bullish. You have a 1 hour break of structure here, so this is the return. And now this because of this return in here and forming this liquidity, I would like to take my first take profit. Once it takes out this liquidity, is the first take profit. Then one thing I'm expecting, if you are checking the 8 hour time frame now, is this liquidity grab that happened here. So we don't have this week or this candle closing below this. We have this week closing below or going below. Now, one thing I'm expecting now is that it breaks the structure. It forms an accumulation because uh, I see I see the whole USD bullishness ending soon. So if we are to end the whole DXY bullishness, then I should see an accumulation on Euro USD. Otherwise, then it has to break our weekly low. But our weekly LSTP is still like about 100 and something pips away. Meanwhile, JPP USD on the other hand has broken it. This is about 200 pips away, 189 pips away. And with this liquidity grab here, I'm expecting a white up schematic. So definitely, if we are going to be breaking, and even coupled with the fact that the our daily high, because this is a daily high, if you are checking a daily now, that's a daily high, a daily lower low, daily higher high has liquidity above. Our daily has liquidity above, so it's all coming together as to not having a solid structure for the bearish continuation anymore. So what I'll be expecting, what I'll be doing essentially is after taking this trade, taking a bit off, then leaving some till it breaks this high. But if it doesn't break, then definitely the trade will be at break even and have our we could have our trade idea complete. So that will be all on this EUSD. So it's just waiting on the market to come take us and we we continue. So I think it's just going back to bed now, waiting for the market to give you what you want. Because definitely you can't do anything. You definitely don't want to market buy at this point, and you just want to wait for the price to come to you. And for the different ideas we've been looking at, is just for them to trigger the alerts at different points, and we're able to react based on that. So if this is triggered, what I'll be looking in at this point is I'll be looking at this essentially. So we have this get out. I'll be looking at that majorly because we have that, and we have this definitely something, and also there is this liquidity. So we have a lot of potential to have this zone work out as our zone of our point of interest. And that zone we can also look at based on 1 minute. But I don't like taking my time frame on my whole other block for 1 minute. So we could also use this SND week here. Alright, so that SND week 2 could also work as our our POI. So if it breaks this low, then it returns to this point, and we have a continuation. So that should work for us. So going to gold now. Okay, so we are having it closer to this zone of interest. Now in the 5 minutes, all this are just allowance. The allowance is a bit too much. Let me just give it a bit of allowance. Then my stop loss also come up a bit. Then I think I have my alert set around that point. I don't want to play the trade yet. Then looking at that point, but definitely I doubt it comes to this point over there. So those are the 2 points majorly I'll be looking at, this point and this point.
say the London has taken the Asian low, Asian high. After doing its own manipulative move and it has formed a directional bias, say for example it has the Asian formed an equal low and the London takes those equal lows then reverses to the opposite side to to form a
Yeah.
bullish movement. What
Yeah.
happens, you can never have your price going below that liquidity grab it just did. Say for just like I said, the manipulation it did with all Asian session, the lows it grabbed from the Asian session and it started to go to the upside. Even after breaking several structures, you will never have price reverse within London session again to take out the London low. So the only possible thing that you would have is the New York session reversing on the London. So that's the only thing you can have, and you will not have the price. You will not have New York session reversing within New York session. Once the New York session reverses, once there's a significant reversal from a demand or supply zone, or probably there's a break of structure, you would not have another break of structure to the upside, or to the opposite side of the direction it started before. So that's just all about the whole. There's no reversal within a session. Most of the time you don't have once there's a move. Okay, I think it was on Euro USD I was saying that. So this whole bullish move started on, yeah, just about how many minutes after New York? 15 minutes after New York started, you have this whole move start. So what I mean is, because some people who are planning to short the whole thing from here, which, well, if they had short
Yeah.
it, they'll possibly still be in profit of about 37 pips. But I still had the longer view in mind. So with this whole thing, and even broke 1 hour structure, so you would not have the price reversing to now take out this New York low again. So that's what I mean by you having uh you not having a reversal within a session. So in the case of London now, the London continued from where the Asian started, where the Asian stopped, and you had this. Now what do you see on the New York? The New York reversed on London. So it's only when you have this new session open that you have a reversal of highs and lows. Without the new
Okay.
session open, you will never have a reversal in the market. What you just have is a continuation or probably retracement. So all these were just retracement on what started on New York. So we have the price getting to our buy zone for, okay, it still hasn't gotten to it, but that's okay. I
Thank you. I
think we
understand.
have an all right. So that is open. That order is open already. So it's just for us to see what goes on next. Now, the first take profit for this will be at this point. So let me just add an alert for that. Alright. So if peradventure the market doesn't come down to this point, we are deleting it. Or if it forms a new high, then I'll be deleting these ones. But if the market doesn't form a new high, please leave the below orders open. So we'll just see as the market plays out on our new opened order.
In many cases like this, what I most likely would do is just get off my MT4, get off everything, and let the market play out as it wants to play. Or if I probably have some other orders or some other market I'm looking at, then I would go into those ones to monitor them. But definitely, I will not be checking my MT4 for the result of this. I just want, once I know that the market has hit it, then the remaining can play out as it wishes to. For USDCHF, USDCHF is still having a rough day, so that's so. I think every every major player started to go up, and this is 9:45, 9:55. All right. So we'll possibly be having the result of this whole move on New York session by New York session, because we are past the time. I think we are 1 minute past the time I stipulated for this whole session, and we'll get the result of this whole trade. But just the most important thing is that you get how this whole trade that was formed. From the structure being bullish to this accumulation that happened here, then it bounced off a 1 hour order block. So I showed everything, and we're having our rejection. What am I saying here? This is $0.05. Wow. Possibly I'm not too familiar with this whole paper trading on TradingView. So I probably could have added about how many zeros? Maybe two zeros more to make it about $6, because if I'm using a one lot size, this should have given me $6. A one lot size, this should have given me about $59, sorry. So I probably miscalculated the open here. But nevertheless, the whole concept is that you understand that we are going up, or we are buying at that point. So that will be the end of today's session for not today, this morning session, London session. So we come back to we gather again by when New York opens, and we see the result of this. And number two, we get to we get to get probably we have an actual idea based on what we have done. So by on 1:5 is about this point. So that's my 1:5, and where I'll be taking my partial will be 1:14, and I'm willing to let the remaining run because of the things I'm seeing on the 8 hour and the 1 hour. So first, let's put this at 1:5. Once it gets to 1:5, I think our good for the under session is complete. So this 1:5 is this 15 pips. Uh, that's a 15 pips take profit. So with that in mind, I'll be posting this on the channel whenever it gets to each 1:5, and we come back to monitor the remaining. So though I'm not expecting a reversal in New York, but whatever happens, we would still be monitoring our trades. All right. So I think